Meeting order. This is our Ware County Board of Commission work session agenda for Monday, February the 14th, 3:30. And I'm going to ask the chief if he would lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all your many blessings. We thank you for your goodness, your grace, and your mercy on each one of us. Lord, we pray for the citizens of this community and, Lord, for those that have been affected by so many different things this past year. Now, Lord, we just pray that everything that we say and do today be pleasing to you. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Y'all would let's pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to do a roll call. Mr. Burse.
Present.
Mr. Pope.
Present.
Mr. Lucas.
Present.
Barnard.
Present.
Chairman. Okay. We have a guest speaker today. He called.
He called and said he wouldn't be able to be here today.
Have anybody else? Okay. If not, we'll go into the agenda items. A is consent order with Georgia Department of Revenue on the 2020 Ware County Tax Digest. And I don't know, is Billy here? Yeah. Billy, will you come up and explain a little bit of this to us?
Good. About a month ago, or I'd say the first and middle part of January, we came up and addressed y'all about a consent order that was going to be issued by the Department of Revenue on a numerical scheduling problem that we've had within our system. And at that time, we just needed to file the appeal, which y'all did, so we've timely filed the appeal. And we have received documentation. It is not the final of the draft of the consent order, it's the first draft. I think looking at it, we've determined there's probably not going to be a whole lot of modification in the draft. That probably what we're seeing here is probably what it's going to be. I think I've given each one of you a copy of the draft for y'all to review. And basically, I'm here today to try to answer any questions that y'all may have to pose to us as far as us trying to follow and take care of the stuff that's been handed down to us in this order. So basically, I think that, like I said, all of you have gotten a copy of what we're looking at. The infraction we had was on one of the measures of assessment, which was the uniformity measure. And we've got some quotes that I provided with y'all that were from a couple of companies just to take care of the one deficiency we had. And one of them was for $56,500. That's a programming just for them to program the one particular thing that we have in the schedules. That's the issue. And for an urban land adjustment. And the other company that bid on it bid roughly $150,000 to do the same thing. So basically 3 times as much money. We reached out to several other companies to try to give us a quote. Most of them, and quite frankly, all of them are so busy with what's going on with the real estate market. There are a lot of counties that are under contract right now having work done, and they basically just told us they couldn't do the work, so they didn't give us a quote because they knew they couldn't get it in the timeline that we needed this to be done in.
You don't have any questions about We have a lot of questions.
Okay, I figured we did, so I'm
we're
prepared to
sorry.
try to answer as many of them as I can, as accurately as I can.
Billy, I've got those copies of what you let me
Okay.
know when you want me to get them.
Have you given those
Not
to them?
yet.
Okay, all right. Yeah, if you want to give them those. Yes, sir.
One of these was blank.
Okay. That's the one that probably made the most sense.
Makes sense. So what are the requirements of once this consent order signed, what does the county have to do in a certain period of time?
In the consent order, and I've spoken with Jennifer and Scott, there are a couple of timelines, and it states basically of everything they're telling us in this consent order, that either we need to have enough staff in place and be able to assure them that we're going to handle the work in-house by June, or either we need to be contracted with a vendor.
June of this year?
Yes, sir. Basically, this was a review of the 2020 Property Digest. They did the review in 21, so our next review would be in 2023. So and we have that length of time. They'll actually do the review in 2024, but 2023 would be the tax digest. So it tells us we have to have that work completed by that time when they do the review. So it will be on the 2023 tax digest.
Is this tax digest unique to Ware County?
Yes.
Are there other counties that having to do the same thing?
We are currently, we were the only county this year to receive a consent order. I do know, probably from what's going on with the market, there are a lot of counties that have already reached out for help, as I was telling you, contractor work help, because they're trying to avoid this bump in the road that we've hit. In every county, they have a cycle of 3 years. So like a third of the counties in the state get it 1 year, a third the next, and a third the next. So I wouldn't be surprised to know that some other counties are going to be probably staring down the same barrel of the same gun that we are in the near future, probably as soon as next year when they start doing more digest reviews.
So the Department of Revenue is questioning the amount of the digest?
No, sir. All it is a statistical. The amount of the digest, it don't have anything to do with that.
Okay.
Basically, we have 3 measures that we go by. One of them is they look to make sure that our values are reflecting what the market sales prices are. And the 40% assessment level in the state of Georgia is the absolute level. Once you dip below, actually 38 or 36 for a failing digest, but 38 for the loss of public utility money. We have met those criteria. We've never failed under that criteria, but the one other statistical measure is called a coefficient of dispersion. That is a uniformity number, and basically what we've done for the past 20 years is use different statistical measures to adjust the values to where we stayed in compliance to get full collection of the tax digest. But by doing what we've done, we've got this one statistic that is out. And this, we were cited in 2020 and written a warning to have this corrected. Well, of course, when you start coming and talking about trying to get revenue, you come before a board of commissioners or anybody else and you want revenue, especially in rural communities. If something's not broken, you don't fix it. As long as it keeps running and you keep collecting your full money and everything's going well, you don't do anything. And coming and asking for funding, basically, what's that going to do for us? If why do we want to spend, $100,000 this year and spend another $100,000 in 3 years and continue to do this? And this is basically what has happened is 20 years worth of patching. Now we're in a position where we've got to do a rebuild to get all this in line. And this rebuild would be something that would hopefully last a long, long time. Like I said, this probably total revow with everything being done has not been done since 1988. So we've done some partials and full revows of agricultural and in industrial and commercial properties and some residential properties. but never the complete schedule change that is going to be a requirement to get us in line where we can get these statistics back in line.
So all parcels in Ware County will have to be checked and reevaluated?
All according to the consent order, every piece of property will have to be physically inspected by that time. So that would be the collection of all data. That means that someone, us and a vendor, would basically go to 21,000 pieces of property within the next 2.5 years and physically do a review and all the statistical stuff. The problem is we need someone to rebuild these internal schedules. That is not our gig. The people we're looking at and trying to talk to people about, this is what they've done for a living. So they're the fix. We've been just doing the patch. So
all parcels, that includes residential, industrial, commercial, timber, farm, everything?
Everything. And when we look at the sales, and we're looking at sales, of course, we still review them, but every sale, if it's an ag sale and it's got 5 acres or more of it, if it sells, we extract the timber values. We do a basic timber cruise on those properties. So all those will have to be reviewed. Like I said, industrial, commercial, residential, the whole works, everything.
And if we don't do the consent order, then we still get fined?
Yes, sir. We have
We're
until.
still gonna have to do the digest.
If not done by the 2023 number, then the number that you saw, and on the first page of the consent order that's reflecting $104,920, that would be, if we're not gonna be able to do that payment would be due probably by June of this year. If we can get this, handled and get it under control, this $109,000 won't ever happen. We'll take care of it. Of course, there's a cost to take care of it, but this will not be something that we pay.
And the consent order is basically a promise to the Department of Revenue that we'll do it. We'll do what's
Correct.
supposed to
We'll have it done, whether
By that
it's
time.
internal or whether it's contracted or a combination of the two.
Thank you, Billy.
Yes, sir.
Can we do it in-house? Can you do it?
Quite frankly, I'm going to be honest with you, there's no way. I have, right now, there's 3 people on my staff that can review property, myself and 2 others. We can do as much review as what we can do. We cannot do the schedule changing. Can't guarantee you that we would have the physical review done. I mean, quite frankly, I'm being frank with you. Honestly, the answer really is no. I mean, it's basically no. It can't happen with what we have, with the staff that we have, and what we have to work with. We're not going to get it complete. I'll just be frank with you.
Are they qualified people out there to be hired that the county can hire? Do you think we could?
We've
hire
not
one or
been
two?
successful. I'll say that. We've had more of our staff that we have paid for and got qualified to leave us and go to work in another county, and they're taking the knowledge that they're getting from us and the education, and they're moving on. So we've not hired anyone or interviewed anyone in a long time. I'll say we did bring back Mr. York on our staff. He was with us for a number of years, and he was gone for 6 or 7 years. So we did bring back one person that is certified and trained. So he is one of the 3 that I have that would be doing field work. So we're not having any luck trying to hire anybody. We have recently filled some positions, but we have still 2 open that are budgeted positions, and the others that we have that we've hired on our staff to be appraisers are, one of them he's been with us 1 week, and we've got another one that's been on staff probably 3 months, so they don't have any training beyond what we're doing right now. They have no certification.
Now, even if we hire this contractor, though, are we still going to have some additional people and some equipment?
The understanding, and the county attorney may help me here, the understanding I think that we're getting out of reading this language is that we have to add these extra staff people, or we have to get contracted. If we get contracted, that takes care of the extra head. It's still, we do have some language in this about the personal property, and if you'll look, and y'all have to excuse me, I had eye surgery on both eyes week before last, so I'm not seeing all this real good again, but it does calling here to for us to do the personal property as well, which is desk audits and go into the business asking for their information. We think that is I interpret it that I think this is something that is on every review that they do. This wording is in there, and I think this could be a copy and paste deal that this is stuck in there. Now, I will tell you that they do look at the number of appraisers you have for the number of parcels you have, and that's how they determine how many people you're supposed to have. So currently what we're saying is, and what this is saying is, we need to hire 2 more beyond what you have budgeted anyway, 1 for personal property and 1 for real property. But I think if we do the contractual deal, that we're good on not having to budget any more spaces. Is that how you interpret it?
I agree. On the real property, and then the personal property we'll have to address.
Correct. And that's today, by coming to you today, that's what we're trying to do is talk to you about the real property, because that's our concern and where our situation is with the potential fines or loss of revenue. So I think that we talked about maybe today us handling the issue at hand, and then if we need to come back at the next work session, we want to get a hold of the Department of Revenue's attorneys and talk to them about the personal property status to see if that may be removed from the consent order. I did speak with the vendor today. There's a real sense of urgency for us to try to do something if we're going to do that, because basically they're going to try to move us on up the pecking board because of the consent order above some counties. There have been 4 other counties, local counties around us. Pierce, Tift is not next door to it, but Pierce, Coffee, Tift, Grady, and then us. We would be going on full time with them, and they would be jumping on our contracts this year. If we don't go ahead and commit to do something with these people, they said the next time they'll be available to do any work would be 2025. That's how booked these companies are that are doing the work. So we do want to check on the personal status, but today we're really trying to address our issue at hand. This is pretty lengthy if you look at all of it and what it says and what's going to be expected, all the reports that are going to be having to be given. The chief appraiser is going to have to submit reports to them quarterly, our work plan, what we're doing, our actual budget in our department is going to have to be submitted to the Department of Revenue quarterly for as long as, until this is handled, probably till 2023, to make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing.
Billy, explain the downfall if we don't do it, the funds that will be lost.
Okay. Basically, you're going to pay, if we don't do anything, you're going to go ahead and ink them a check for $104. At that point in time, I've given you one sheet that Scott gave you a while ago, and it's just kind of a synopsis of what we're looking at. The $104,000 is just to repair, is the fine for just the one statistical thing that's out of whack. If you looked at the whole consent order I gave you, there's a number of lines that say shall. They're not asking the county if they want to do it. They're basically saying you're going to do it, or this is going to be the ramifications of what's happening. But you can do that. I mean, like I said, we can do nothing, pay them $104. We can pay $56,500. This same vendor that I'm going to talk more to you about can try to, or will repair the one statistical problem we have. We did have the second. If you're looking at item number 2, the other company's name was Appraisal Analytics. They wanted $150,000 over a 3-year period to do the one statistical fix, so they're 3 times as high. There'll be a box that's in the center of your screen, and there's a number. It's got 3275 circled with a red ink pen. That's actually where our residential property is right now as far as value-wise. We're way below the 40%, and we're making adjustments as we speak to try to get the values up for full collection of the public utility. If you see the other red box, that COD, that's where we're cited. That's where the problem is. So I wanted to show y'all on here by what you've read in the consent agreement of how far out of whack we actually are with numbers. The total, we've got a quote in here. Like I said, I gave you one of those prices to have the one thing fixed. What we are here today basically asking is, we've got a quote from this company for a total reevaluation of $725,000. That is based on the number of parcels we have, the counties that I just mentioned to you prior, except for Grady County. I provided minutes from the county commission work sessions in those counties where they have approved a total reevaluation because of what the real estate market is doing, not just on the residential side, but across the board. It's just not what you're seeing on the national news. It's right here in your town. So basically, when I spoke with the contractor today, for them to push us up, the understanding our problem is worse than these others that they have reached into a contract, and we have a good relationship with them. They have a lot of employees, and they're going to send a lump of employees if we can get this for those site inspections that Mr. Pope was talking about. We got roughly 21,000 pieces to see. The price that I gave you at $725 today, they want to set us up, in that agreement, it tells you something about basically the equipment that we use. We're still old-fashioned country. We still go out in the field with property record cards, and we go out and collect all our data. Then we have to come back in the office and we have to put all our data in. If this company goes to work for us, basically we will have to get a license that basically gives us the ability to have iPads, and this company would be using iPads under our license, and we would all be collecting data, and we'd be able to do everything we needed right there on the spot, and it will be loaded into our system immediately. And we're going to provide the 3 people that I have that are qualified. We are going to be stomping the bushes with them. If we get into this contract with them, pretty soon we'll be on the ground, us 3 will be, and then they'll get their people to us as quick as we can get all our contract stuff worked out.
Let me ask this right here. Okay, so using these iPads or whatever, the tablets, and you're saying that 3 of your people will be out in the field also. Okay, so will the county, will this offset some of the costs to the county by using our county employees?
Correct.
I would hope so.
Yes, sir. If you look on right under that box, item 4, it gives you the total value, the $725. Today they told me if we could help them, that they would give us $30 back, would be deducted from every parcel that we viewed that was a residential piece of property or residential agriculture. It would knock $30 a pop off for everyone we reviewed. And on the industrial commercial, it will be $50 a pop. So just say we got 1,100 pieces of commercial industrial property. So at a savings of $50, you're talking 50 grand. I mean, that is money that can come off just right there. The parcels that we have that are parcels that don't have anything on them, we have about 7,000 that don't have any improvements on them, meaning buildings or houses. Those can be reviewed from inside my office in-house. So those 7,000 pieces won't have to be looked at. So there's a saving of another 35 grand. So we're going to do everything we can to try to offset this as much as what we can and do as much as what we can help them do and not be expecting them to do all our legwork for us, which we still have other things we're doing. We have to review all the sales. Right now we're doing 600 covenants we just reviewed, and we're doing applications for them. So we're going to go as hard as what we can go with the folks that we got. But that's why I told you earlier, I know that we can't complete this in time for the county to be in a situation where not gonna be a loss of revenue.
Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me.
Billy, let me ask something else, and I hope this comes out right. Okay. I met with you and Joyce, and, you know, to try to get an understanding of what all this was about, and being relatively new, you know, in this position on the county. So in a nutshell, it seemed like, based on what you all told me, what I read in here, what I extrapolated from that was that this is a problem that's been kind of like kicked down the road for a number of years. And I'm not trying to disparage your department or any of the previous county commission or whatever, but there's something that should have been taken care of longer and longer, and we wouldn't be at this point we are right now, because it's kind of like we kept putting it off, and so now we faced with this consent order from the revenue department saying, hey, you got to do this. And even if we elect, say, well, we're not going to do anything, we're going to pay the 104, we still going to have to comply at some point in time.
You're gonna have to comply. I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna pay.
So,
you know, yes, the answer to your question is yes, this should have been addressed periodically over the since 1988.
right.
But as I spoke of earlier, if I came, you know, and I'm certainly not throwing stones at the commission, but if I came up here every other year and I wanted $100,000 to help do what I'm doing at this point now, we're all at a point where we understand that's something that you have to pay and you have to fix things, or like I said, the engine kind of blows up. So, but like I talked about earlier, if it ain't fixed, the old saying is, if it ain't broke, excuse me, you don't fix it. So as long as your collection's coming and everybody's happy, it's all good. But when you get hit with something like this, you know, you can look back, like say, hindsight's 20/20, you know. And in our board, we've approached the board, you know, about these schedule changes, trying to do some work to have some of this stuff done. But again, it comes down to funds and finance, and it's basically resulted in somebody's got us in a headlock now, and we're going to have to do what we're going to have to do.
Yeah, we between that proverbial rock and a hard place right now. I mean, we got something we're going to have to do. And I guess my biggest concern is, as far as the property owners and the taxpayers, how this going to impact them, as far as the taxation. I mean,
what can happen, you know, and just being quite frank, you know, we've looked at, like I was talking about, the real estate market. I think if any of us have, you know, paid attention to anything that's going on, you know, if somebody tells you they could put their house up for sale in your community and all of a sudden you see it gone, you know, and you think, the house probably sold, you know, for $100,000. I think that'd be a high price for it. Well, you know, it's selling for $150 now. Yeah. So, what's going to happen, you know, the values are going to go up. Of course, real estate values are going up. There's no doubt about that. Now, in the residential side, the property owners that live and occupy their houses, Ware County has a frozen homestead. And basically this homestead, when they sign up for it, Mike Boggs proposed this in 2001, 2, whenever it was, when he was running for office, this freeze, because he saw the economy, the housing market, the way things were going. He wanted to, by telling the taxpayers they were going to freeze, it made it to be they were going to freeze their taxes. That's really not what it was. It was freezing a taxable value just on the county side of your taxes. So going back to that, anybody that files for homestead and gets a frozen homestead, or they've applied for that in our office, that is put in place to say your house was $100,000 when you signed up, and now because of the market it's $150,000. That freeze was to absorb the difference in the county tax based on the millage rate. That would fluctuate, but it was supposed to absorb all the increase on the county side of your taxes, on your tax bill. So since then, Mark Hatfield's introduced something that was a city freeze, and also a touch of school freeze that he got when he was in office that he lobbied for and got through. The people voted for it. So the people that don't own or occupy their property are going to see certainly a greater tax increase. Your commercial people are going to see a greater tax increase. The agricultural, if they have themselves in an agricultural covenant and they're qualified to have those, if they qualify, they're only going to see the 3% that they agreed to in the contract when they signed up for the covenant. So if their market value goes up 100%, they're going to see a 3% difference in tax, and that's all they'll ever see as long as they continue to keep their property in these covenants. So what's going to happen is when the values go up, then the digest is submitted, and Roger comes back with rollback numbers and comes to y'all and says, okay, this says with the amount that you're going to collect this year that we need to roll the millage rate back. So if that's the case and it goes up enough money in value or enough value and enough taxes that, that y'all, the school board and the city have to roll the millage back, then, that'll be something that'll be decided when all that information is given to you by the tax commissioner.
Okay, so Scott, say, if we had to go and do this, it look like we're gonna have to do it, and had to go with this vendor, where would those monies come from?
It's very possible, and I would have to get it verified that we possibly could use the ARPA funds for this. I would definitely want to make sure for that, to make sure that is a possibility. Because the last we heard was there was a
final interim rule was entered, and it gave direction on what the funds could be used for. And I think there are a certain amount of funds, up to 10 million, that kind of are a safe harbor provision for smaller counties, that you then don't have to actually put forth the data to prove loss of revenue or different things of that sort. So we think that would then, be used for whatever the county saw fit, including this issue, if that was it. But we will, of course, be in communication with your accountant and, make sure that the money man agrees with that assessment also.
So, and I'm gonna try to get off the podium here about this, but so, say for instance, hypothetically, we enter into this contract with this vendor, we get all these reevaluations right, and from that point on, then it's incumbent upon the commission and the tax assessor's office and all to try to stay on top of it so we won't get back in this position again.
Agree 110%. Like I said, when they get this done, and like I say, these people, besides just this on site, the people are going to be working internally doing this programming. Once they do this, it's so far out of whack, but once they dial this in, then hopefully, like I said, we'll be able to have a knowledgeable staff. We'll put together a staff of people and be able to have people that will be able to tweak these numbers, and we should be able to. That's what we've been doing for 20 years is tweaking, but we should be able to take these now, and for many years you should be able to be done in-house, and there shouldn't be any ramifications of us needing to do this every 2 or 3 years. If we're doing that, and we're going to continue, the law is going to call for us to see all these properties every 3 years. So that's what will be on the deal, is we will be trying to review these properties just like they say, but our cost schedules and all these technical schedules that have to be done will just have to be modified. So we should have the expertise to do that.
And you've been on a 3-year schedule anyway? I mean,
that's what the law recommends, is that all parcels are reviewed, but for some reason, like I said, they've not taken into consideration, growth, lack of staff, and that's where this collection loss kind of comes in, and COVID kind of runs in with it, because in 2020, we basically were not doing any kind of reviews because we weren't going to people's houses because of COVID. And it has definitely cut down on not just our county, but other counties as far as things that possibly should have been put on the digest that were not found or not picked up. But on the summary sheet, I just do want to touch briefly on this real quick, and I'll get out of y'all's way. There's an estimate down here in number 5. This is just a number that was run, this 35% assessment level. If you look at it, basically, if we don't do anything and our numbers come in at those numbers, when we submitted ours this year, we were at a 36%. We some way came back with a 38.15 and we collected all our money. But if not, you're looking at roughly a $200,000 a year loss in revenue from public utility, which is CSX, Georgia Power, Georgia Natural Gas. So when you start looking at the numbers that this contractor is offering their services for, we wanted to make this available for you to be able to see the potential of the lost revenue regardless. If this is not fixed, this is what's going to happen to us. The Forest Land Protection Grant, roughly the county received 160-something thousand. I put a number of 170. That number is going to be a lot greater. We are signing a lot of properties up into forest land protection, so that reimbursement from the state, the money that's coming to us, would be larger than this. And anything that is tied up or affiliated with the state, since we're in a consent order with the state, all revenue from the state would be withheld until we were in compliance. It also, I have the school on there, the FLPA, the school gets more than the county does. They would withhold the school money, FLPA grant money, and also a county sales tax number, state sales tax, I guess, paid to the county. You're looking at roughly $5,000 worth of that. So in potential lost revenue in 3 years' time by not complying, we're looking at about $1.1 million. One thing we did speak about too is also your road funding by DOT. None of that money would be gotten. Your what is that, CDBG?
Yeah.
That money would not be available. They would not pay that money to the county as long as we were not in compliance.
And the LMIG application we turned in,
Yeah.
they will deny us to have one turned in just for that reason.
Until we solve this.
Yes.
So if we don't solve this year by June, we're gonna pay a fine, plus we're gonna lose roughly $550,000 in 1 year, plus the fine, plus the
Potentially.
LMIG.
Correct.
And that'll be every year, minus the fine, because we only pay it once. But that'll be for the next 3 years that we're gonna lose in revenue.
And if you didn't do that, you'd lose the revenue, and then when that third year cycle, 2023 came, you'd lose another $104,000, or however many real parcels we had times $5. So it'd be the same fine again. And then if you don't fix it, like trying to overhaul the whole thing, then if you get out of compliance on one of these other statistics, or you don't get that one completely fixed, then that's going to be another warning citation. Then in the next 3 year rotation, you'll be right back in this boat again.
Billy, what kind of increase do you think will happen on these parcels? Like, say, a $200,000 home. Do you have any idea, Roger, of what this thing would have to increase to?
Statistically, right now, we've run some numbers, and statistically, I wouldn't be scared to say between 20 and 30% increase. That's probably just looking at the numbers where our appraisals are at to what the market has done in the last 12 months. Because last year, like I said, we were on full collection level. We were at a 38.15. So we're in one 12-month cycle, we're 10 points out, which it results to a lot of percentage that can't be reflected in those numbers. But I'm pretty confident that somewhere between 20 and 30%.
So you think we're probably 30% under on all of our parcels? Land.
I feel like that residentially, agriculturally, commercially, we were still not as bad commercially, and we did a commercial reval in-house and land in-house in 2012, and did it all. And the commercial industrial side was still in compliance. They basically, over the past several years, have been what's kept us on full collection. So those may not be as far out of whack.
When does the consent order need to be signed? Is there a time limit on signing it?
We communicated with the Department of Revenue just to let him know that obviously there's a lot of a lot of discussion that needs to be had, education, funds involved, and so we let him know we were working on it. And he did not tell us there was a drop dead deadline. As far as we do know that certain work has to be done or in place. We have to either have hired the people that need to be hired or contracted with the vendor by June 1st. So we know that the consent order obviously has to be signed by then, although we expect it needs to be signed well before that to allow us to take the steps needed. So I think, and I'll defer to Billy or Scott, but I think what we're hoping for today is just to get guidance from you all on the real property part. Are you interested in contracting with a private vendor to move forward with that work? We'll come back to you with an actual contract with the vendor. And then we will also come back to you with the language of the consent order once we have clarified a couple of things involving the personal property. But, generally, one, obviously, was just education is a big thing today, but also want to make sure that we're all on the same page and, have a general guidance from you on where we want to head and what steps we need to get put in place to resolve this issue.
And
If we do this, then we gotta let people know that we're not gonna raise their taxes. We're gonna roll the millage rate back. We're gonna still draw the same amount of money. We gotta have to meet our budget.
That'll be a decision for the commission, once you all see, what that looks like and what your budget is and all those needs. But yes, that will be within your power to make that decision if you all deem that that's the appropriate step to take.
Okay.
Again, we do, and this is my thought, and I certainly can't speak for them, but in speaking with the vendor that can do this work for us, we can't really drag around or we're going to get put on the 2025 bus, and that's going to cost us a bunch of money. It's going to cost us a bunch of money, like say $500,000 or whatever to miss. So I would like, hopefully maybe at the next work session, that if there's any things that she and I or Scott need to get worked out that are in the consent order, that we have within 2 weeks, we have full interpretation of everything that is involved in it, and that we be able to reach a vote either to say yay or nay, because like I said, we don't want to get left out, and we're going to work diligently to try to get the revenue department's attorneys to communicate and us get everything in place and be able to bring a finished tool to you here in 2 weeks, maybe for you to be able to at that point make a vote and make a determination of what you want to do.
Right.
That's one thing I was thinking, that because this is a big undertaking, and if maybe we could just table until we get all the information, cross all the T's and dot all the I's, and any unanswered questions or maybe something that we haven't talked about or discussed, that we can get all that clarified, and maybe if we could do it and still hold a vendor, to where they would accept us if we went that route.
Correct.
Because
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Commissioner. How long has this vendor gave you a time that we need to tell them yay or nay by?
No, I'm going to reach back out to them in the morning, and like I said, I'm sorry that I can't bring you, clear numbers to tell you that we're going to be able to do so much in-house and give you a quote of how many we're going to be able to review and how much we're going to lessen the burden. But I can assure you that we're going to lessen the burden that we've got here today. But the quote, if we're getting a quote and they've given us a quote, we need to accept the quote and just realize that the money would be deducted off the quote. So we're not going to be able to come to you and say, okay, I know that my staff's going to review all 1,100 commercial and 12,000 of the other parcels and they're only gonna do X amount, it's gonna cost you this, and this is the contract. They're gonna be people that are going to, like I said, with this data and the computers we're gonna have, the minute we log and pop parcels, it's gonna be cha-ching, rolling the money off. So, but we need it as soon as possible is the answer to what you're saying. So I would hope that Monday in 2 weeks, or if we need to have a special meeting sometime in between then, or if it was the next week, but I wanna confer with them and them tell me, Billy, you got to let us know by so-and-so day, or we're gonna take this other county, we're gonna put them on the roll, and y'all just be hung back.
And I guess, Scott, you or Jennifer, in that interim period while we doing this, we can find out about the ARPA money,
Yes, yes.
whether we can or whether we can, or if we can, how much can we use? Because I think that's going to play a big role in it, because right now we're not even budgeting for this.
That's correct, yes.
So Scott, you think you can have as he alluded to, a package ready for the next meeting to make a decision on?
I think so. As long as we get everything nailed down, I think that would be sufficient time, 2 weeks.
Billy, do you know what about what your increase would be a year?
No, sir.
After this thing is put in place?
I have no idea. I mean, I'd be completely leading you in the wrong direction. All I could speak on was what I spoke on earlier about the number and the percentage that we're looking at right now, but that don't tell you anything dollar wise. That tells you nothing, because like I said, you can be appraising $400,000 pieces of property, or you can be appraising $20,000 pieces of property. So when you start talking about revenue and tax and all that, when just from a perspective of percentage of appraisal to sale is kind of the number I was talking to you about.
Right.
But also one thing here, Mr. Billy, if we do this 725, the program that they bring in, we're gonna have from then on. Is that correct?
Yes, they do the work. Work stays with us. I mean, that's not them coming here and slap some numbers in here and them take all their data and get out of town. No, all that is gonna be in our system, and then like I said, we will be able to analyze and make adjustments as we need to on the work that they've done in the future for the future years.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
I know.
Thank you.
All
Can
right,
I
thank
ask
you, Billy.
Commissioner Collins to come up for the question?
Here's one thing I do want to touch on that I can clarify. He was asking about the reappraisal. When properties are reappraised, this is called inflationary growth, and that's what affects your millage rates on the millage rate rollbacks. So a positive growth, your millage rate will roll back regardless if there's new businesses or anything coming in. Anything on existing properties, if the value goes up, your millage rates will come down. So that's as far as you're on the rollback. That's what you'll see.
Right.
So the biggest thing is what they do, and if there are any exemptions, because there's some properties that values are going to go up, but their exemptions are going to go up. But if you have a net positive inflationary growth, your millage rate will drop. So.
Yeah, I know whenever they get their tax thing, they're gonna look at it.
Well, when they get the assessment, the actual taxpayers, when they see assessment, they see that big number. First thing they think, my taxes are going up. And that's the first thing they're going to get from the assessors is their assessment letter. But once we get everything, we start working through the inflationary growth, that millage rate will drop back. Normally the tax is about the same, if not lower.
Right.
So, I just wanted to touch on that. So, because that's what you was hitting on. That is a number that will drop the millage rate. Right. Now, don't be putting in there saying I'm saying the millage rate is dropping next year.
I won't even know that.
But I'm just saying that is the tendency. That is a tendency when it comes to inflationary growth. It is a positive growth from the reassessment. It will drop your millage rate.
A lot of this came on account of the increase in sales in the last several years. We've had a lot of property that sold a lot higher than it normally would in some areas. Not all areas, but some areas. Okay, anything else? All right, Or just carried over to the meeting?
Just for clarity, Mr. Chairman, we're not putting the consent agenda on the meeting this evening, correct? He was just saying carried over to the meeting. So
Yeah.
Carried over?
Well,
I think
we'll
what
take,
we're-
we'll leave it off of the agenda, but we'll have it on the agenda in 2 weeks.
That's
For
right.
the meeting.
Okay. We don't have to table it then, do we?
No,
We
sir.
don't need a formal vote, no, sir.
Okay.
Since if everybody's in general agreement.
All right. Just leave it off. Okay. All right. B, Republic Services Agreement. That's on the waste.
Mr. Chairman, this was on the meeting previous, and it's being brought back for approval. It wasn't approved because I was directed to touch base with Republic Services to inquire about the franchise fee and the amount. And so I've asked representatives to be here from Republic.
Yeah.
And just open for discussion and action.
Okay. Y'all have anything on that before we get Mr. Rob up? Mr. Rob, would you come up?
Yes.
And you are who?
Rob Carter with Republic Services. I'm the municipal manager.
Okay.
And now I think y'all were looking at increasing the franchise fee to $25,000. And
Yeah.
the rate on that would be $17.19 per cart per month, where it was $16.99 for a $15,000 franchise fee.
Right.
And it would be how much now, but if we went to
Let's see.
25, 17 what?
$17.19, 20 cents,
17.
20 cents per
Yeah.
month, per cart.
We thought we approved it but we was at 15. And if you go to 25, then it'll stay at the 16.
It'll go to $17.19.
20
It'll go
cents
up
more.
20
It'll
cents.
go up.
20
Yeah,
cents.
go
more.
up 20 cents.
Per
Because we're
house-
paying you
per
an extra
household.
$10,000 in franchise.
Okay. Any question?
Mr. Chairman, my feeling is I know we talked about the exclusive agreement to go up, but I think it's time now just vote on what we've got and move on. And that would not raise the monthly charges to their customers anymore than what the new one will be. So I'm ready to, my vote would be to just leave it as is and move on.
So you're talking about leaving it at the 15,
Yeah.
but you saying that it won't go up, but y'all have provision in that contract where you can go up every year.
Correct on that. So we did the contract, so the RFP went out last fall, and we turned in our proposal, $15,000 franchise, all that. New contract started January 1. And if you look, our rate, I'm sure you saw, went up significantly from prior year, because once we went to RFP, we had to start, reviewing our finances. And we were upside down. We couldn't continue as is. We would have had to walk away. So on January 1, so we billed 3 months in advance. We went ahead and billed the $16.99 for January, February, March. And so if you do go to the 1719, I'm sure we'll get questions as well as you. So I think that's part of it. Keep it at 1699. But we can do whatever. This was a proposal. You tell us, but that'd be the number if it was 25,000.
And it's been at 15 for quite a number of years, right?
The franchise fee?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We've always cut a check for $15,000.
If we go to the, if you go to the 25, then it's gonna cost them
20 cents more.
20 cents more on them.
For the to the resident. We bill those direct to the resident.
So we stay at the 15, we'll be all right, just like we.
Yes, it'd be 16. It'd be our original proposal. Our original proposal was exclusive agreement, $16.99, once a month. The white goods, brown goods pickup, and we'd keep the transfer station open for the residents that chose not to go with that service.
I've got a question for Public Works Director. Having in the past, y'all worked with, or your department worked with the public to have cleanup days or dumpster days or something. Have you had good success working with them?
We haven't had them in the last several years, but we have had them in the past.
So that could be something you could.
I don't know if it's in this agreement or not. I don't know how they work it.
You know, I would like to see some some extra services jointly with the county, because this is not correct. This is only like a permit or a license to operate. If we don't, county has no involvement in their business, correct?
Correct. Right. I think the last time we had the cleanup day was like 2018.
Something like that.
We did it for about 3 years straight when I
I have
started.
a question that maybe y'all could ask. How typically will we haul into y'all as a county, like we do our own pickup?
Okay.
I noticed it significantly went up on our invoices. Is that go back to the old rate?
Now, this is just to the residents. I'm not sure about, you know, Misty, on the, what goes in on the transfer station.
We had our own special rate built into the old contract.
We wrote a rate in the contract, 70. Yeah, $19 minimum. I mean, that was what was asked of us to bid, and that's what we did. That was our proposal. And to answer your question, we always want to be good community partners. We would be glad to do something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Anybody else?
The wording on the exclusive and non-exclusive, I know we talked about that last time we were here. Did we take that out, the exclusive part, or did we leave that in?
As drafted, what was advertised, historically has been a non-exclusive franchise agreement, but what the RFP did was ask for it to be exclusive, and that was what was responded to.
Yeah.
And that was one of the not justification, the rationale we used for the franchise fee increase, because it would be an exclusive versus a non-exclusive contract. In the past, it's been non-exclusive, but now you have an exclusive for what, 5 years?
Yes, sir. 5 years. And that's the way we would have to price it to give that rate. Normally a non-exclusive, you would have set rates the county so chooses to have. And then anybody can have a non-exclusive franchise, but then they got to pay a franchise fee to do it at the same rate. Everybody does it at the same rate. And I think we were the only ones turning in a proposal, and we proposed as exclusive because it's only 6,000 or so.
Okay. All right, thank you, Russ.
Thank you.
Carry it over on the. C, ordinance revision driveway and encroachment controls.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commission, this is being brought back to the Commission for consideration. This proposed ordinance revision on the driveway and encroachment control as it relates to pipes, driveway pipes. Basically, we were asked to look at what we were charging to put the pipe in. And because of the recent economy, we really never know what pipe's going to cost us if we can get pipe. And so what we're recommending is to modify the ordinance so that way we charge the customer, if you want to call them that, customer, the cost of the pipe of what it costs us, the cost of the dirt, labor under one charge, and there's a $50 administration fee. And so, but anyway, there's two versions I put in the agenda packet. The first one is the marked up version to show what we're changing or proposing to change. Anything that's in blue will be added, and anything that's struck through will be deleted. But there's also right behind there it's only 3 pages long, and then right behind there is a clean version that's not marked up. If you want to take a look at it. The Public Works Director and the Engineering Department put this together as a recommended revision.
I want to table this because I'm not satisfied with some of this.
What are you not satisfied with? Let's talk about it.
Well, you got, I'm just not satisfied with some of it.
This will now be the time to hash it out.
Yeah, we need to, make some, about the driveway pipes. Is it gonna be all concrete pipe or metal pipe?
The way it was proposed to us was that the Engineering Department Public Works Director would determine what would be best in certain locations.
Yeah, we said that policy 2 or 3 months ago. didn't we?
Yeah.
That's kind of how that was put together. I don't.
Why can't we come up with a price for a driveway instead of determining how much the pipe is every time? Why don't we come up with a set price? If you want a driveway 40 foot long or 30 foot long, we say it's $500, $600, whatever. And if it costs the county a little bit, if it runs over, then every year we change the price of it. If the material increases, but if not, we stay at a certain price. I kind of hate that. A lot of people come down and they tell me they have a time down there getting a permit. They tell them this, they send them back home. You know, let's go with you pay so much to get a driveway, and we can put the driveway in with the dirt in the pipe. But we need to cover ourselves. We ask Michael what it costs to put one in on average, and let's not.
You could, you could change it annually based on what it's running. And the only reason we came up with this was because the pipe kept changing. It seemed like every week it was going up, so that's why.
But it ain't a few dollars a foot or something like that.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Schubert?
Yes, sir.
What's the process of getting a permit for a culvert? Was there a problem with getting a permit?
Under county ordinance now?
Yeah, you walk in, I want a permit for a driveway.
The ordinance now says you'll pay $450 if it's a standard size pipe, which is I think it's 18 to 24 and 24 feet in length. And we take the money, the application, we send it out there. If there's a different price, then Public Works puts a different price on it if it takes a bigger pipe than 24. Right. So that's kind of the standard.
15, 18.
Yeah, excuse me, but we send them home, Jerry, and tell them to come back. And when we get the full price, a woman come from Homerville the other day and couldn't pay for a driveway and had to go back and come back again. That is not good.
That come up to be a supply and demand type thing. We didn't have any pipe and didn't know when we was going to get pipe, and I don't think they still got any pipe.
metal pipe, but I don't have any concrete.
So, and there's been so much confusion on pipes. Are we gonna put in concrete pipe? We're gonna put in metal pipes. So we didn't know what in the hell way to go. Excuse my language. I mean, just to be honest with you.
So if somebody wants a permit, does engineering or public works go to the site, determines everything is needed, and then come back?
Right. Well, normally, no, that's not normally how it happens. Normally, they just pay, and if there's a difference, if it's bigger than 18, then there's a different fee they have to pay for that pipe, if it's a deeper ditch or whatever.
So why would you tell these people to go home and then come back?
Because we're told to.
What?
Because we were told to by upper management stuff, because they didn't have any pipe. They didn't know what the cost would be.
Right.
I mean, it was just
There's
no
no
way
way
it was
you collect
good.
the money
So,
unless you know how much the pipe's gonna cost.
what's that?
There's no way you can collect the money from the individual unless you know how much to charge them for the pipe.
Well, and I'm kind of twofold on that, a little bit, that we have a county ordinance out there that says it's going to be $450 unless it's a bigger pipe. So, you know, and I brought that up that we can't, I mean, our office can't really tell them it's going to be more than what the ordinance says it's going to be.
I got you.
So that's kind of where we was all at. We was all mixed up, and I actually brought up the conversation at one point is actually putting a moratorium on driveways until we got it figured out. But we thought we could get it figured out pretty quick, so that's why we didn't do it. So also would like to just try to clarify C. I don't remember what section I brought it with me because I misled a developer, and it's totally my fault, I guess, but. And I don't mind, if I make a mistake, I don't mind taking action for it, but under Article 4, 1883C, the way I interpreted that, it says driveways for commercial, agricultural, and logging operations are responsibility of the owner/developer. So when Mr. Scott, he's here today, when he put in his residential subdivision, I informed him that we, pay the price, pay whatever the fees are, and we put in the pipes. But then it was interpreted a different way that because he's the developer, then it's commercial. So I was mixed up on that as well, and I would like to clarify that one, that make some changes in that word. And if we're not going to do that, then we need to put that in there, or developer for residential subdivisions.
So were you involved in coming up with this?
I did a small draft for for a little bit of it, but not the whole thing. So
Looks to me like the planning department, the public works, and the engineer department should all be on the same page and have something so we don't run into what the chairman's talking about.
But see, I got a call on that too about that. They said, we don't mind paying, but we need to know where we can get a driveway. He said, they ain't gonna put us one in, I mean, that's not good to be telling people you can't do
if
this,
I
you can't
misquoted,
do
that's
that.
my fault. So
And we're gonna get tax money off of whatever they build,
Well, at the time how this all started was we were told that we needed to start putting in concrete pipe.
Yeah.
We bring it forward, and at that time it kind of went back in two. And then when all this happened is when Michael wasn't able to I think it was like 6-8 weeks before he was thinking he could get any.
6-week delivery time right now on concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's kind of slowed it down to figure out. And then they said, we can't tell you what the price is going to be then. And then that kind of threw us for a loop.
this has been a cluster for
the
day
engineering
one.
department decides what kind of pipe.
I'm sorry?
The engineering department decides what kind of pipe.
That's correct. Right.
Well, and if you look back at the old ordinance, it says that we will not install any concrete pipes. So it's just been a cluster from day one, to be honest with you.
I say let's get it all straightened out while we're on.
Yeah. And that's wise because, once we do start getting pipe, then we're able to,
Right.
to go forward from there.
I'm going to take this and I'm going to reflect whatever we adopt in the driveway, I'm going to reflect it in the subdivision ordinance as well. So if this says we won't put it in for residential development, a developer comes in and does a 10-lot subdivision, we won't put it in, I'm going to put that in the subdivision reg so it's right there under streets and right-of-ways and culverts.
I feel like we ought to set a price on a driveway. 18 or 24, and that's normal price. If it's $500, put it in. If it costs us $520, we still need to put it in. Next year, then every year we'll raise it till we set, we'll stay somewhere in that number, whatever it costs.
Mm-hmm.
We won't be
I'm in
losing
agreement
no
with whatever
money
the
on it,
commission
but,
decides.
you know, at least we can let these people, if they want to pay for a driveway, let them pay for the driveway. We know we got to put it in the next few days. So there's pipe come in.
So let me ask you this question here. Whenever, let's use this scenario here. Someone getting ready to put in a driveway. All right, they want to get the pipe. Who determines what kind of pipe goes down, whether it's concrete or the metal pipe?
Public Works, but for the most part, it's always been metal with either an asphalt coating or a poly coating on it. And in some areas, like Emerson Park, they put concrete in because when they redone the drainage over there and repaved the roads, they put in concrete. If the area had mostly concrete pipes, they put in concrete. But for the most part, in the past, it's been metal. Just one stick or metal. If they wanted more than 24 feet, then Public Works gave us a price per foot, and then we charge the extra amount. All our office does is a conduit. Other than the $50 charge for us processing all the paperwork and making the faxes and talking to the public, our office is strictly a conduit for handling the money and getting it up into the commission office.
So it can be either or, concrete or metal pipe.
Back in the day, it could. So, but then that conflicted with our ordinance because it says we would not install concrete pipes. So
we need to change it to concrete pipe.
We need to make whatever revisions we got to make and get a final draft, and let's go with it.
Yeah. And I think one of the rationale for staying with the metal pipe was that in the past it's been cost less for the metal pipe versus the concrete, but now my understanding is it's about the same price. So, and if you had to get it for the same price, I'm pretty sure the concrete would last long and all that, but it also costs a little bit more. It's more labor intensive to install the concrete pipe too, isn't it?
You have to ask Public Works on that one. I don't install pipes. I know
it's not that big a deal.
The what now?
As far as laying them, putting them in, it's not that big.
Talking about that concrete?
They're heavier, but I mean, we're using the same backhoe both ways.
Okay, so if it's, and I think that's what the chairman, one of the things he talked about was using concrete if we could, especially if the price was the same. For longevity.
The chairman over in Action County said that the reason we use metal pipe over there was because you could order it pre-bent. The grader didn't have to bend it.
The grader didn't have to bend it.
That's what he told me now. In Action County, he said they order it pre-bent. He said so the grader don't have to run over it.
Because the grader gonna bend it anyway.
That's what he said.
You know, then you need to look at, I mean, if you really want to do a total driveway overhaul, and I don't know for sure on this, but I'm sure speed limits probably into what if you need safety ends and all that. And I don't know if this covers any of that. So, you know, this was just a general ordinance that was drafted several years ago just to try to get something in place. And, you know, now that supply and demand and COVID and prices, it's just all come out that, hey, look, we've got a mess and we need to fix the whole thing. But in the meantime, I need to know what I need to do for fact on people applying for driveways. Because if I need to send them home, if I need to process them, what I need to do. We've had some that's processed and some has not minded. You know, if it's a $100 increase in the pipe, they said that's fine. You know, Mr. Scott said that when he done it, I said, no, the pipe's not what it used to be. He's like, whatever the cost is, you know, I just need pipes put in for those 6 lots. And I've got other people that's applying for driveways, and I need to know what way to go. I think I looked on the ordinance or looked on the thing, and I think last year we did like 31 driveway permits, maybe, and that was in a, I don't remember, I think in a calendar year, it was 31 pipes or applications we took in. So we just I need some directions from my office, from the commission, management, what I need to do, what I need to tell people, so I can tell the ladies downstairs what we need to do. You know, if we're not going to issue driveway permits, we're going to get this thing straight, then we need to put a moratorium on driveway permits. I mean, which is going to hinder developers. It's going to hinder residential development. It's going to hinder, well, we don't do commercial, that's understood, but it's going to hinder progress.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I want them to be able to get them a driveway. If they're gonna build a house and move a trailer in, I want them to be able to get a driveway.
But it doesn't matter what you do.
And pay and not have to come 2 or 3 times.
If you go up,
If we have to go up on it.
For the first several times, people's gonna fuss, but they'll eventually get used to the new cost.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. People don't like change.
Right. I think, Michael,
I was just going into Commissioner Burse's question. There's places where you don't have enough cover. You know, you've laid concrete pipe, you got the big bales. Those places, some of that's not going to work without digging a big bellied out hole to make them work, without ordering special pipe and stuff like that. That was the reason for keeping that in there, that and or. Right. But for the most part, they would be concrete pipe.
yeah. Yeah, we need to
You've got
stay with,
situations where if you ride down a dirt road and you're out in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden you come up on a big concrete pipe, you know, it looks out of place, it's out of place.
But the metal pipe has been working pretty good. I mean, I know it maybe won't last so long.
And to the chairman's point, yeah, they do get bent.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. I mean, farm tractors run over them. You have people pull mobile home across them and bend them. It happens.
They
all the loggers have been every one of them around where I live at.
Loggers have been.
They rust out. They
rust out eventually.
Yeah. They stay bent up.
Yes.
That's the reason I say we need to go to concrete pipe.
Right.
We don't have near as much trouble with concrete.
Right.
But I think we do need to set a price for a driveway and let it be fixed. And if the price of the pipe goes up 50 cents a foot or $1 a foot, and at the end of the year, if we behind a little bit on it, then we'll catch it up next year. We'll change it. But I think we don't need to be sending people back home, telling them they can't get a driveway today. You got to go do assessment and all that. And I don't think if we want them to come in the Waycross, we want them to build, they need to be building a house now.
Right. I agree. Me and James had this same conversation the other day. We just need some direction on which way to go.
Right.
Yeah. So if the Public Works, Brandon and Stewart, they got together and say, well, okay, based on everything, we think would be a fair price to do a driveway and go with that. And like I say, if it runs a little bit over, then make adjustments, next year or whatever,
What were those other 600 and?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it.
$600, about $30.
And
for an 18-inch concrete pipe.
And on the residential side for a subdivision, it makes my job a whole lot easier if the developer wants to pay for the pipe and get them put in. Because I ain't out there in 6 months or a year telling somebody they got to move a plastic pipe or they got to move a 12-inch piece of sewer pipe.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of twofold. I understand that their Public Works is real short on staff. They don't hardly ever have full staff, and they're trying to grade all these roads. I think there's 500 something miles of dirt roads, probably pull ditches, whatever. And I know it's a burden to go in there behind a developer and try to put in pipe. But on the other, my twofold on the other side, it's a lot easier for me if a developer puts it in because I ain't trying to send letters or going to subdivisions like we did 5 years ago and send 90% of the houses a letter stating that next time the graders come through there, we're going to pull a ditch across your pipe because you put in illegal pipe or you didn't put in pipe.
Put a pipe in at all.
So it's kind of twofold on that. I understand it's more work for them and it's easier on me. So
is there a rule that we should put in flared in sections on paved roads, off of paved roads, or have you got that in there?
I don't, but
it should be in there.
It should be coming in there because we have, you get a high-speed road or something, they need to have those flared in or some sort of safety end on them.
You just need to be looked at because you got this road we just put in. This is a dead-end road with a cul-de-sac, a short road. There's only 6 mobile homes in there. They're not really a need for flared in sections. And that low-speed dead-end road that's only, 700 feet long? Yeah, 700, 800 feet long. That you're not gonna have a high speed. It's not safety.
Right.
It's not as critical with that.
Okay.
So if you just said paved roads, it would require him to put them in
And that's like, gonna almost double the cost with those two flared in sections.
Right.
And that 24 feet of pipe. And it's not really necessary. But on the county road, like the project we're doing out there on Smith Road, which is a through road, then yeah, you probably would want to do safety in the flared in section.
Flared in section. Okay, if we do that,
The residential is something you look at on a case by case basis, whether the say make a blank statement on all paved roads require flared in section. But it's something we definitely need to use.
that can be added to that price, and there can be a list. If it's on a paved road and a commercial, it can be flared in sections, you pay this. If you're on a dirt road, you pay this. You know, so we can handle that.
Let's set some speed
And I think
standards.
we ought to, don't you, Scott?
Maybe under some speed standards, like.
Set speed standards, whatever the, what's it,
What is it,
UT,
ASHTO? Set those standards?
Yeah.
whatever ASHTO
35
says.
miles an hour required and something like that.
I mean, because I don't want to say, well, I mean, I'll still be at the same spot. If I say, well, I got to send it out to Public Works and see if you got to have flared ends. But if I know if it's a 45 mile an hour or 55 mile an hour zone and they require for a driveway pipe on a paved road, then they're going to have flared ends.
Okay.
So, I mean, put some standards in there that makes it absolute. And let's not have any discretion.
We can put that on the chart, I think, can't we, Scott? We can list it.
Yes.
That you pay this, if you're here, where, whatever, that there'll be prices.
Yeah.
Instead of, say, well, you can't get your permit today, we got to go do this, you go back to
I mean, if I know
Glenn County
what,
and come back next week.
if I know what that price of that pipe's going to cost up front, and I understand I can't know as far as 18, 24, 36 or whatever, I understand I can't know that because that's determined when they go out there. I don't go look at ditches. But as far as a standard pipe, and if I know everything up front, it makes it a lot easier on us making an application, accepting an application, than actually tell them they got to come back. And you know, people get perturbed when they come back and they expect $450 and now it's $8, and if they didn't get more length. I mean, it's like Johnny Mitchell. If I get a driveway off Johnny Mitchell, it's not going to be 18 or 24. I don't think it's going to be 24.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more. So
We can set that price on there. And it'll fit the
just whatever it needs to be, we need to be clear.
situation. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to clear that up because I've had several calls about that, and everybody tells me all the time about that. Aggravating down there to get a permit.
So I guess
that 2 or 3 times.
the consensus
We
will be
don't-
the
we
table today, and we'll come back with a more detailed ordinance. Is that what we're?
Yeah, I think so, because you're gonna have to put a price sheet in there. If we're gonna try to set a price and then annually change it, then they will always refer to that price sheet in the ordinance.
Right.
So,
Why not change it when the pipe changes the price?
The pipe changes every week.
yeah, that was the issue.
Last week,
$4 a foot.
$4 a foot last week. Went from 1950 to 24, or 24 or something, or 18. That's what we're dealing with. I mean,
Yeah.
just-
Well, dirt prices is changing every day too.
Absolutely.
You can't haul dirt $50 a load either.
No, you won't see $100, I mean, you won't see a load of
mean-
dirt dumped anywhere for less than $100 from a
We,
farmer anywhere.
Yeah.
We know dirt's up, I know everything. That's the reason I said, well, let's set a price on it. And we can handle it for 12 months. And then we'll come back, but if he puts a house in there, he's gonna be
That
paying
makes a difference
taxes.
for my staff, his staff,
Yeah.
everybody, where you got, X number of dollars, whether you lose money or
Right.
not, at least you
Yeah.
got it.
We
See,
can set
before,
it-
when this was all drafted, the metal pipe was a lot cheaper, and that's how they kept going, and nothing was changing.
When that was done.
I
Yeah.
understand.
So now we playing with a different set of instructions.
Let's go with something everybody can live with. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
That work for the developers too as well, that on the residential side?
That working, what now?
Will that be as well for the residential side on the development, like with that subdivision on
Yeah, it'll be, Scott, it would be the same it wouldn't be the same on residential as it would, well, no, it would be the same except for if you were on a paved road or a dirt road.
Okay.
They'd be the difference there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Anything on it?
I think what he was asking was.
We need to table that then until we come up with a price on it.
Yes, so we can put it on the next meeting if there's
Put it
no,
on the,
hey, Michael, is there, we need to go, is there somebody, so you don't have pipe yet, right? It'll probably wait.
They told me 5 to 6 week delivery.
Okay. So we can have it on the next meeting once we nail all that down. Okay.
this sale order price here is not right then?
Not 450, not, I mean, we sell them at
There wasn't the price on there.
there was a price on
You
there.
got a price here.
Yeah, it shows $4,500.
How much?
4,500.
Yeah, this is the price sheet. You talking about the very back?
Yeah.
I gave them the price sheet that we were given from Diamond,
Okay.
so they could see. Yeah.
18 and 23. Okay. Let's table it until we come up with a driveway price. Okay. All right, D.
Dr. Perham, you want to?
Thank you, gentlemen, for hearing me. A little more cheerful topic. Well, I'm asking you for an ambulance package, and just a little bit of background. When I came here about 10 years ago, we had a totally wore-out fleet of ambulances. I think we had one newer one, and it actually caused more problems than the old ones at the time. That one's still with us, but close to going out. But my point is, it took 8 years to turn that fleet over by doing one at the time every 2 years. Now, once we did it, and we were able to replace every 2 years, I think that's a good equilibrium point for Ware County. I mean, we've been able to maintain a good fleet. However, post-SPLOST, now we have to look for how we're going to replace them. And once delivered, we would have gone a 4-year interval. The other thing, I'm glad you all have been discussing supply chain issues, because if we do order this ambulance today, we won't get it for a year minimum. Now he told me, if we got in line properly, we could get a chassis by September, and then it would be 7 months more to build it. That was before the Ambassador Bridge was blockaded for, I think, 8 days. I think it's open now, but Detroit got pretty much shut off. So I don't even know what's going on, and I don't know how long it could be now. But all we can do is order it. I couldn't find a demo ambulance either. So, all we can do is order it, and I don't know, it may be 14, 16 months. Who knows with the way things are going. And that's all related to the computer chip issue. They can build the boxes, but they just can't get the chassis. And that's from Ford, GM, or Dodge. But I'm not coming to you early, but our back's not against the wall, but our back could really be against the wall once this were to be delivered, depending on the time. And it's the time we're running mutual aid, not only to Pierce County, heavily. I think that'll be largely resolved after today, but we're getting more and more demands from Brantley, Clinch, and Atkinson. The whole system's under a lot of pressure. So we're running them hard and long. More hospital diversions where we're having to do primary transports to other hospitals outside the county. So, it's just something we can't get around. If you agree, you told me that, but I need to ask you for one. And I attached the mileage of all of our ambulances in service, and I've attached all the quotes for the ambulance itself and the equipment that we typically put on it. And with no SPLOST source or any, if it ever had to come out of the general fund, I mean, we better take advantage of buying this equipment at the time of the ambulance purchase, because otherwise, who knows? I mean, I will say this, Scott and I agree we should keep one ambulance that could have been surplused already because of these uncertainties. So we do have one ambulance to go ahead and surplus and put on the market. And if used ambulances are doing what used cars are, maybe it'll be one of our best sales. I don't know what Barry thinks, but that's an older International that's out of service. But we just kept it as a fallback. We would also be able to surplus a second ambulance, which would be the, that'd be the International you see here, M3. The old International has been out of service for, I don't know, we've had it a couple of years. So anyway, we could even put two ambulances on the secondary market if that's what we choose to do. May hold one back for a while. But I guess with that, I would just entertain any questions you may have.
How many do you have in your fleet now?
I'm sorry.
How many ambulances do you have in your
We
fleet?
have 6 active. 6.
6.
Yes, sir. We have 4. Well, we actually have 5 active now, but we typically run 4, and then we have a first reserve and second reserve. But we've been running 5 ambulances when we can get it for the past couple months with the Pierce County burden and the hospital burden and the increased call volume. We got up in the 820 calls last month, and hadn't been a year ago, our maximum calls were more like 750, 725 to 750. So the heat is on again. I'm going to pull that 5th ambulance back if circumstances permit as soon as I can, but for now I'm keeping it in place. So anyway, we only have 1 reserve truck when we have 5 running, but typically we do have we'll put the best one up for first reserve and then the older one up for second reserve.
Didn't Pierce County contract with Grady Hospital to operate their ambulance service?
Yes, sir, they did, and it failed for whatever reason.
And it didn't work out, and now they're going back to operating their own?
Yes, sir, they're going back to Pierce County, and it's supposed to start today, which I was pleased to learn because I thought it was going to be March 1st.
Because you've been going to Pierce County when they get a call, right?
Many times. Sometimes they have 1 ambulance, sometimes they have none, and we did an MOU recently, Scott and I, that we haven't done it much, 1 or 2 24-hour periods, but we literally put a full ambulance staff with our people, station it in Pierce County because they literally at times had no ambulances at all.
So
but we charge for that. We have a per hour charge for that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the others are just, we do it and bill for the service to the patient, to the user.
So they will field enough ambulances to take care of most of their calls?
Yes, sir. They're going back to full operations. They had some challenges, but I think they got the ambulances licensed, and I think they've hired everybody they need. Took one of our paramedics, but I mean that's how it goes. But we're down 2 paramedics. But other than losing 1, we could have lost many more.
I got two quick questions. The price, the $257,000, that's fully equipped?
Yes, sir.
Ware County?
Yes, sir. The ambulance itself is $166,575.
Is there still a problem with hiring EMTs?
There's a big problem with paramedics. I've got
paramedics.
Yeah, EMTs I'm able to get, but we have 2 full-time paramedic openings now as of the 28th, and no applications. But we keep beating the bushes. But I'm meeting with the captains Wednesday, kind of urgent meeting to look at other staffing alternatives that we may have to do. You know, if it keeps going like it's going, we may have to have one paramedic to straddle 2 ambulances and make them EMT trucks with a chase back to our vehicle we've been trying to launch, but we may have to at least have the captain chasing a couple trucks, or we may literally, should it continue, we could come to having one paramedic having to chase 2 each. I hope not, but we got to be thinking ahead, because it's a national problem.
Right.
Certainly a local problem and national as well.
Volunteer firemen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
I got a
sir.
question. You're gonna put all new equipment on ambulances. We couldn't use any equipment off the other ambulances?
No, otherwise it never gets replaced either. And I mean, it wears out just like the ambulance. Now, we do keep the old equipment that's able to be used. And like this will be the last ambulance that we have to buy the whole pro-load system, the self-loading system. Then we have enough to recycle them, and we just have to get the electrical plate, which is about $1,000. But yes, sir, now we keep it all, except we will you'll see on there we're trading in our oldest monitor, the LifePak 12, and we're trading in the old power cot. So we'll trade in and get some credit for it, but they get wore out as well. The monitors will last, but you keep them 10 or 15 years, they don't make parts or service them anymore, and that's where we are with the LifePak 12. So we use what we can till it falls apart, for sure.
Okay.
And the new monitor we got for the captain's vehicle, we had to put on the 5th ambulance, never knowing we'd have to have a 5th ambulance, right. But yeah, interesting times. Seem to get more interesting by the day, but as if we can stand anymore.
What's your recommendation, Mr. Manager?
My recommendation is since we can use the ARPA funds to purchase this, I know for a fact we can, then I would use those funds, we don't have it splossed. If it wasn't for those ARPA funds, I really don't know what Ware County would do. I really don't. Because with our current general fund budget, there's no way.
Yeah, and I told
there's
Scott
no way. You better take advantage of them right now, because who's to say we might not ever get SPLOST back.
Right.
And the federal money may not keep coming.
And then the federal money, we might as well use it for things we really need in public safety and those kind of things. Then, especially because of the offset there.
Thank you.
So if we keep dipping into that off after a while, that well gonna go dry. So we hitting it pretty hard.
Correct. Yeah.
Just between Bill and with Billy.
Yeah.
That's taking a pretty good hump.
For something like this, the way it was set up in SPLOST, that every 2 years you'd roll them out, sell them, and keep them refurbished. But now you don't. The well's dry, so to speak.
And I mean, I talked to Scott post SPLOST that we talked about engine replacements and all sort of things, and we could. It may be appropriate to do that at times, but like this highest mileage ambulance, we've already put 2 engines in it. That one that's 164,000, I think, or about. But I did say I wouldn't come because I won't. I mean, I would wait till we need, and with the lag time, we definitely need it.
Barry, does these vehicles come with an additional cooling system on them to take care of the hot weather? I think that's what gets those engines.
With extra air coolers on them.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, they do.
They do come with additional.
And one of them, we put engine in one that we've got, and it lasted about a year, and it went out again, but it was under warranty the second time, so they give us an engine to put back in.
I know they loaded pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Loaded pretty heavy, and they hard to work on.
Right. I would recommend if they are improved any, and some of that, cause I know they need a lot of cooling and.
They come with extra coolers on them, and even the air conditioner has an extra cooler on it in the back, so it's up underneath it.
So Bill, was this the only one that did it, or you got a quote from on this, are there different vendors out there?
This company, it's in Georgia and it's small, and they built the last 6 ambulances. And we bid the first 3 or 4 out, and they always won the bid. Then they got outbid by a little margin, and we chose to stay with them anyway. They just have excellent service. They're close. 4 hours away. We invariably have to go back and forth several times when we get a new one just to get all the kinks worked out. And it's kind of become a sole source. We completely custom built down to where the electrical outlets are. We've over time we cut 6 inches off the ceiling and a foot off the box. We have, with every generation, we've been tweaking it to fit Ware County. So I want to go with it as a sole source. The only other ambulance, they're not a builder, but Peach State up in Atlanta, they're just a dealer, and they're cookie cutter stamped out. Each ambulance the same. We'll do whatever we have to do, but this company has really been incredible, and I think Barry's seen that too, that their product is really well built.
And when we need to find out when we're working on them, we can call them, and they're real good about helping us with them, and they run problems down.
Yeah, send them parts.
Yeah.
And they've gone up to 166,000. I think the last one was 145,000, but that was 2019. So they really have gone up with the rate of official inflation. Maybe, I don't know exactly, but 7% a year or so. And so they're not gouging us at all. It's a fair increase considering all that's going on with inflation.
Okay. Any more questions?
I don't.
All right.
Thank you very
We
much.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Carry it over to the thing.
Put it on the agenda.
Yeah, put it on the agenda. Okay, airport property leases. Got a couple of them.
Talking about some of the airport leases and where we're at with them.
Just a question asked about the pricing on them, and where we stand with joining the airports. The second page here will show you what our rental fees are for everything that we own out here. Including the land stuff.
And doing some research, everything pretty much is in line on our side as far as being the same, except for the 2 buildings that you'll notice that says unused helo hanger. The square footage price on it's fairly low. And the unused building, which is Scott built right now using for construction, and you can see it's even lower than the Quonset hut. And the Quonset hut would be a good price point to be at as far as square footage price. See on the first page that we're roughly in line with Douglas. We tried to get some airports that were close to us in size wise. Baxley is about half price of what we're getting, not quite half price. Jessup, as you can see, we're pretty much in line with Jessup. Bacon County did not answer the calls. As you can see, Lowndes County, which is a whole lot more per capita than we have, is the corporate hangars are quite a bit more, and then the small hangars on up to the electric door hangars are pretty much price compatible to what we've got too. Right now, we're in the process of redoing all the leases. And if we want to make a change, it would be probably better to wait till January of next year, come in with the whole format and redo everything if we wanted to. Or do a temporary here on the two hangars that, we're not getting square footage prices of Quonset had. And as I stated one time before, the prices are set by the commission. It doesn't have anything to do with the airport.
So right now you're saying we're pretty much in line, we're not the highest, we're not the lowest, but we're kind of in the middle there.
Right in the middle the way it looks.
And if we're gonna make a change, you recommend the first of the year, next year?
Without having to redo all the contracts, and then we can kind of give them a heads up of what's gonna happen in January if we do something.
All right. I say we just leave it like it is until January.
Right.
Then address it then.
Any other questions? Thank y'all. You wanna go on with the other stuff?
Any more?
Yep. That's it. Yeah, we can. Yep.
You want the grant?
Yes, yeah, it's next to, isn't it? That's right.
There's an approval on there for y'all to approve a virtual reality grant that we did, and what it is a heads-up display for the law enforcement, and it's to practice de-escalation where they can handle situations, talk people down, if they can do it verbally or as it escalates, up from the taser to actual deadly force. But what it does, it gives them a reality-looking situation that's interactive with the instructor, and he can change the scenario as he goes. He can make it rise. They're doing a good job of bringing it back down to a verbal letter or anything in between. It's 100% grant. I wrote it about 6 months ago, and as you can see, it's $63,000.
That's be completely funded by this grant.
Yes, sir.
No cost to the county.
No, sir. We have to put the money out front, and they turn right back around and reimburse us for it.
You done got the grant then?
Yes, sir. This is done. I mean, matter of fact, this has already been bid. I mean, they're waiting on us to tell them to send it to us.
Tell them to send it.
Thank y'all.
You done your work. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Okay, that move. Got a bid award for the right-of-way mowing. Scott, you got that bid?
Yes, sir. It was actually, we only had one bidder. Is that correct, Brandon? Yeah. You want to speak to this, Michael, since you were in there?
We had about 15 vendors request packets. Had one vendor respond with a quote that were bid, and that's K&A Mowing out of Blackshear. Cost per mile on the right-of-way mowing was $235 a mile for the 171 miles that we put out. Give us an option of litter removal on that same 171 at $150 a mile per cycle. And then the airport mowing, industrial park stuff we put out as an option as well, and that's $25 an acre for the 600 acres in the industrial park area. And so that was the three options that we did. We could do just the minimum of just the right-of-way mowing, or we could add the two options on that as well. That was how we were asked to bid it out.
That's just on the outside perimeter of Ware.
Correct. That does not include the inside portion of the donut area.
You'll have to do it still.
Yes, sir.
So, Michael, this is with all three of the options included. That's what the 242.
I'd have to.
Yes, sir.
I'd have to defer to Scott on that. To put that together.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and those options again were mowing and
mowing, and then the litter removal as well on that 171 miles, and the airport mowing for 3 cycles. Was that 3 cycles? How you
It
do
was,
that?
all three or
All
3
three.
cycles.
Yep.
So the litter removal, basically like paper trash, whatever.
Just like you see out on the DOT routes where the guys are out picking up, the debris, the paper, cups, trash bags, whatever gets thrown out of the back of trucks or whatever. They pick all that up ahead of time before it gets mowed.
How long does it take you to mow the airport property?
If you could stay on it with 2 or 3 tractors, you could do it in a couple of weeks. I mean, it just depends on how much time if you work in 10-hour days versus 8-hour days. I mean, it's just all in it.
Is this the back slope and everything front
Yes, sir.
to the back?
Yes,
3
sir.
times.
3 times.
It's not like we used to.
We
One
used to
time
do
you
it
could go
5
front
times.
slope.
No, we used to do it 5 times a year when we were bidded out before. 2 times they only went to the bottom of the ditch. The other 3 times they were supposed to go all the way to the back.
Right.
I wasn't involved with that. That was before me, but that's how that contract was done back then.
But this is going
Front to the
the
back.
whole right away.
Yes,
All the
sir.
way to the back 3 times.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I was going to point out, I don't know if you did, Michael, but on the litter pickup, I believe you used inmate detail to do that. Well, we're really not sure how many we're going to have or if we're going to get them. So that's kind of a touch and go
That's
situation.
a up in the air situation day
Yeah.
by day.
Well, the past 2 years, we haven't used them much anyway.
Well,
I'm
that's
picking
true.
up trash.
Yep.
I mean-
And you go and pick up trash one day, and usually about 2 days later, you're going to have that same amount out there again.
Yeah.
It never fails, especially in the intersections.
When would you have them start?
When? Brandon, he really give us he was needing to know so he could get his equipment and stuff lined up.
I think he said it was gonna take him a couple of days for that tractor, did he not?
Yep, a couple of weeks, I
Yeah, a
think.
couple of months.
So, I mean,
He's got equipment when the grass starts growing, when will you tell him to do the first cut?
what do we say, April?
Probably.
Around
Mid-April.
1st April. We can work out those details, but it's roughly around the 1st April.
How often does the state mow their road? 3 times a year?
Twice a year generally, but they spray as well though. They spray retardant. I think they spray that, twice?
Mm-hmm.
Most times twice a year, they spray retardant kind of stuff.
We're going to still be mowing all the
Interior stuff.
interior stuff.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you just got your certain ones to do the mowing, that's all they do. They can keep the airport mowed and the donut area, couldn't they?
We'll do whatever, we were just asked to bid it out all 3 ways. I mean, my help's just like anybody else's. You don't know what you're gonna have from day to day. I hired 2 and I hadn't had either one show up yet, so.
Yeah.
Had one call me back, said he wasn't coming, the other one didn't show up, so.
So, Scott, again, the question, where's the money gonna come from if we approve this?
We budgeted money in the single county T-Splosh to do this back when we first put the budget together 2.5, 3 years ago, whenever it was. Yes, sir.
I'm just glad you didn't say it coming out the ARPA fund.
No.
You worked on it all.
Yeah, ARPA fund, but I'm gonna tell you.
I was gonna say, I need to get mine moved up the agenda if that was the case. I already hit that pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we did this, about 25 years ago, the cost was about half this. It looks to me like a reasonable cost. I mean, I don't have any problem with it being.
And this vendor does do work in Pierce County, Brantley County, Appling, so he's well used to doing this kind of work. Yes, sir.
And if we could hire people, then we have to get equipment and all that, so.
I think this is a fair price.
How much do you think it costs us a year to mow it I'm talking about diesel fuel, labor.
That number would change yearly. I'd have to sit down and really figure it out.
You've probably got $100,000 tied up in it, not counting the wear and tear on the tractor.
That's just one tractor. Would cost you $100,000 with a mower on it.
We got two of them.
And we have two of them.
I think
And we have a spare mower. I mean, we have three mowers,
Three bat
three bat wings. We have one spare one and you'd be surprised what you run over in these road ditches that people have thrown out, scrap metal haulers, and you don't see it until you
If you got grass 2 foot high.
Correct.
I think Commissioner Barnard's idea when we brought this up was to use the 2 tractors we've got, maybe park those big mowers and put a smaller
Put
one
a
so you
smaller
can get
mower on.
around
Yes, sir.
town, mainly in my district. I'd like to see my grass cut.
I mean, that's all you needed to do in that area of town, a small 8 foot mower.
Right.
Right.
To like on Blackshire Avenue from State Street to Sunnyside. I mean, you wasting 3/4 of your bat wing going down that road.
Right.
Bat wing ain't nothing but a headache. And
If you're getting
I'd
a
rather
tight
have 3
spot,
tractors running with 7 foot mowers and 1 bat wing. The upkeep on a bat wing is real expensive. You got
3 times as
6 to 8
much to tear
tracks,
up.
yeah. Keep getting lots of joints in. Sound like it's kinda high to me though, to mow 1 cycle. They just out on the outskirts, but we got to run up and down the road. 95. That's less than what it was bid the last time? You say, Jerry?
I think it was. He's talking about years and years ago.
Yeah.
We did bid this before, and I want to say it was
About 6
It was
months.
higher.
it was it was considerably more. Yeah.
Much less here.
And what I was going to recommend or suggest is we try it for a year, see how it goes for 1 year, and if
Try it
things
1 year.
really, it pans out really good, then
Okay, he asked you think you could mow the airport then and the inner part?
We can.
Okay.
That's saving $45,000 right there.
Yeah.
So they would back that out of it, I guess.
Yeah, we can award any of the 3 options.
Well, what we could do, each one of the commissioners could pick a day a week, get on the big tractor, and mow the airport, get volunteer community service time.
That's right.
I'll be working on St. Simon's.
cutting grass.
Speak for thyself.
We can't rent that to some hay man.
My understanding, they've tried that in the past, and there's all kind of
FAA
restrictions,
regulations.
FAA restrictions as far as hay baling, and that's been our understanding. That was discussed
We
several
went through
years
it
ago.
about 2 years ago with,
Is it level? I mean, is it?
yeah, level.
What kind of problem they have
You
with it?
get too close to the runways, you gotta stay
Too
away from the
close.
runways.
It's 8 years ago, Mike Vogel used to lease the airport to go hay, and I think it went belly up or something or other.
He leased a small portion over there and never did, I don't think he ever built a hay,
Maybe
bale
because
hay.
you got
off.
enough cement asphalt in between them runways too, you're not gonna grow
So a
anything.
lot of it is old soil cement taxiways that have grassed over.
So it ain't.
You don't
grow
really
grass,
have a
get
whole
it
lot
in.
of quality grass there. You know, the prison used to farm some of it back in the day with low watermelon type crop, something that grew real low to the ground.
Could we put a light spray on the airport to kind of keep it down from growing so
It would
much?
suit me if you could. We could check into
We could
that.
probably get a local farmer, with one of these big old 60, 70 foot boom tractors to go in there and spray that thing in a day's time, 2 days' time.
Find some kind of retardant that would work.
It's kind of
That
stunning.
would stun it, not kill it. Because you can't kill it, because if you kill it, then the dust flows into
Right.
the turbines of the engines and it runs into issues there.
Any more discussion on it?
Like Scott said, we maybe try it for a year and
Let's try
see
it.
how it go, cause that's something definitely needs to be done.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let's, carried over.
You know, we're gonna carry it over minus the
Yeah,
airport,
on the, just the right of way, we're gonna.
right away and litter.
In the,
removal too, or just right away?
I'd say go do litter too.
let him
I
see
mean,
that.
ain't sense of mowing out there that running over trash,
Yeah.
standing all over the highway and everything else. Clean it up.
How many times has he got on the litter?
Three.
Three times through, what's it cost us? We need to pick it up just one time a year?
That's three times a year.
Huh?
That's three times.
And they
a
pick
year.
it up prior to
Three
the
times, it
mowing.
won't be much. If you pick it up once, you're all right. Probably. Just do the litter once a year. It should be the.
I'll put this, we have to award the bid, so I'll put this on the agenda.
We're gonna put on the agenda, vote on it tonight.
Vote on it, yeah.
And just gonna do the litter once a year?
But I think if we pick it up one, we don't, you shouldn't need to pick it up three times, should you?
I don't know, depending on Scott say, a lot of times you pick it up and come right back.
Yeah, and he would pick it up before he mows.
Right.
Yeah, I know
one
I
time
have gotten
before he mows.
complaints before where we've mowed and, you know, when you high grass and you got trash in it, you can't see it. So when you mow it, it looks like it just finished snowing. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we clean up some of them roads out there by the house and they'll go over on, and boys will clean them up on Saturday. Well, they'll last a year, you know, you see, they'll some throw back.
Well, you take within 2 miles of the store, you gonna have trash on the highway. But you get 5 or 6 miles out, you're not gonna have any trash, because they already throwed it out back up toward town.
yeah.
Let's see, what's he doing it for?
25,000 each cycle.
We can do it, whatever y'all say,
I'd say clean it up 3 times a year,
3 times,
keep it clean.
$75,000.
And during those times, we're still probably going to get calls about trash. You know, we still have to go pick out things like refrigerators and mattresses and those kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
Tires.
Okay. Carried over on the. 3 times, and I
Yeah.
guess. Okay, any commission items? Any y'all got?
I don't have anything.
The manager, you get anything?
No, sir, I don't.
Adjourn,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor? Meeting adjourned. I guess we'll go right, we're
Take about
gonna
a 10-minute break.
let's take about 10 minute break, and then we'll come right back. Board of Commission, this is a public hearing, rezoning. And let's see. We done did a roll call,
Yes.
be out on roll call, won't we? Okay. And then, this is for rezoning of 1925 State Street from C3 General Commercial to R75 Residential. Scott, will you explain that to us?
Oh, I've got Dustin here. Dustin Mitchell he can explain it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in short, we got a family that you got family members that subdivide the properties right in there. They're trying to convert an old warehouse. It used to be like a barbecue place there at one point. They're wanting to convert it into a residential use, basically convert it into a house. Currently it's zoned C3. That doesn't allow any residential uses, and that's the reason it was brought forth.
Okay.
I mean, currently above it, you've got some houses that were grandfathered in that were zoned C3. Below it, you've got the VFW, and you've got Circle K just below it that are also commercial. Behind it, you've got some residential. I believe it is R75, yep, behind it. If you go across State Street and the railroad tracks, you got some R50 MH over there. It was brought before the Plan Commission. Didn't seem like it would be a case of spot zoning or anything like that because you've got stuff adjacent to it. And while there is one issue with the structure, it would be non-conforming. The Plan Commission did agree to allow that to go ahead before you for your final decision on it. Essentially, it was non-conforming due to setbacks on the side of the structure. The property lines, they cut it right up against it. And the adjoining property's already been sold to the VFW, so what's done is done on that, unfortunately.
Which one of them is VFW? The
VFW is to the south of it.
Little skinny one right
there. 011 or 08?
008.
008.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And then 07 is the Circle K right in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's just above Blackshear Avenue.
Blackshear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can that warehouse be converted into apartments or houses?
My understanding is from what James had told me, unfortunately he had to step away, tend to an accident situation. My understanding from him is it can be converted to residential use. It may not look the fanciest, of course, but I mean, it can be done.
Okay.
My understanding is, if I recall correctly, I believe it's a brick block structure, concrete block, some sort of block structure. Yeah.
To do that, they're gonna be a lot of plumbing to do it residential. Their plumbing facility is not in it for residential, is it?
I can't speak for the
things.
existing plumbing and electrical inside of it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
According to the information from your department and the planning commission, they also want to build a house on the property?
They had intended to want to place a tiny house on the property, but that will not be permitted because they just don't have the size for the requirements for it. The property is just too small for it.
So right now, the
rezone itself is essentially just to allow the family to continue the conversion for the actual block structure into residential use.
What is it being used for now?
Currently for nothing. It's just a vacant structure.
Just a little vacant
It's an empty structure. They're not using it for anything at this time.
But once it's rezoned, then it will be residential until it's rezoned again for another commercial or something.
If
we're not
that's the case in
rezoned
the
just
future.
the we're not giving them permission to build in there, will you give them a building permit to do that?
If the county commission so decides to change the zoning to R75, then we would allow them a building permit.
But that's just to repair the current structure, not to build a new structure.
They're not building a new structure. It's just
they're just
converting this into it. So basically, they're just changing the inside of it so it'll be residential use.
Okay.
Pretty much structure is already there.
Yeah.
Right.
So we just gonna do some cosmetics, I guess,
Yeah.
for the inside.
They had garage doors on the side of it, and they've already replaced a couple of those. It was one of these situations where it got caught when we noticed that they were doing work on it. So, I mean, that's all been put to a stop at this time. So,
Is the applicant here at the meeting?
don't believe they're here, unfortunately. They were notified, but
Not important enough to be here, I guess.
they recently had a baby born or grandchild born. So,
Okay.
I don't know if that's the reason, but.
Okay.
I say put it on the agenda.
Anybody else? Put it on the agenda. All right. Thank you.
What's the date of it?
All right. Any comments or anything? Commission comments? All right. Let's adjourn this.
Mr. Chairman, before we do, I do not believe there is anyone here, but just so we'll have it for the minutes, can we open it up and say if anybody wishes to speak for or against? And we'll put that in the minutes. I don't think there'll be anybody, but.
Okay, is anybody from the public that would be for or against this rezoning from C3 to R75 residential? Anybody oppose it? Anything?
Thank you for that.
All right, thank you. Thank you for clarity. Okay. I hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor of adjourn? We're gonna go ahead and open this meeting up on the regular meeting, Board of Commission meeting for Monday, February the 14th. Supposed to be at 5, but we're a little behind. I ain't gonna do no roll call. We done got everything. You have any guest speakers? No.
The approval of the agenda, I guess.
Let's approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda set forth in front of us.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Consent items. Approve the meeting.
Hold on, Mr. Chairman, we got a guest speaker.
We have a guest speaker.
Yeah, Downtown Development Authority, Waycross Development Authority.
Okay. Yeah, Downtown Waycross Development Authority. We have a guest speaker for that. Okay, come on, excuse me for.
I asked Belinda to come and give a report to the commission on what's happening downtown.
Yep. Good evening. Thank you for inviting us to come and give you a report on the downtown. My name's Belinda Ursher. I'm the director for the Downtown Waycross Development Authority. I've been with the Downtown Waycross Development Authority for about 18, 19 months now. We've had a really exciting and busy 18 months. The old post office on Elizabeth Street and the Lyric buildings have both sold and are now back on the tax rolls. We're also seeing a lot of interest in our other buildings in downtown from investors. Our office gets calls weekly about other buildings in downtown. And the Phoenix building is currently on the market as well. Let's see, we've got currently approximately 106 businesses in the downtown district. 38 of those are new businesses, and that's pretty impressive considering we've been in the middle of a pandemic. Those 38 businesses, they're in different stages of opening up. We have a couple that haven't quite opened yet but are really close. The rest of them are open and going strong. The goals for the Development Authority this year, we would like to continue to build the facade grant program that we started late last year. We are working on fundraising for that. We also hope to set up a revolving loan fund for the downtown merchants and building owners. We need to clean up and dress up downtown. We've got a lot of activity happening down there now, and we need to show up for it and dress nice for it. We're also working towards improving lighting and safety in our downtown area. We're excited about the growth in the downtown, and we are planning new events to further that growth. Again, I'd like to thank you all for your continued support in downtown, and I'd like to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, appreciate that report and the information. It's good to hear about the positivity of things happening downtown. The Lyric Theater, okay, it was sold. Was it the gentleman that did the Bond Building
And the Ware Hotel, yes, sir.
Okay, so are there any plans to try to rehab that?
Yes, sir. We're actually working really close with him. We're coming up with ideas. He's not dead set on any one specific idea yet, but we are working on plans for that.
Okay, and the post office?
The post office as well. Now, the post office was purchased by a different gentleman.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Linda, could you explain the interest in the railroad depot and the caboose operation and the viewing the trains on the internet? Could you kind of give a little background on that?
Sure. So there's a large group of people that love trains. And there's actually a program on YouTube called Rail Fan. When you punch in Rail Fan, it pulls up loads of live cameras that just watch for trains. And we actually are working with them. They came out, took a look at our caboose and our platform, and they love it. They want to put a camera up on the depot, and this camera will actually be able to look in both directions, so they'll get trains coming from both sides. And there's a large following. People, they call them Rail Fan events, where they plan once a year, and all these people, hundreds and hundreds of people, go to whatever town they've chosen for that year, and they spend a weekend there watching trains, visiting the town. When they came out and took a look at our platform, they were really excited. We have restaurants and shopping right there at the depot, and they were just really impressed with it. So that'll happen this year as well.
If they came to Waycross, they wouldn't get a belly full of it.
Yes, sir. He was kind of surprised at how many trains we have go by there.
How's the food truck program at the caboose working?
The food truck program's working pretty good. We have food trucks set up every Monday. We call it Monday Munchies, and that's right there at the caboose. The food truck comes and sets up for most of the day, and people can come down and get their lunch and actually sit on the platform right there at the caboose to have lunch.
Thank you.
Pretty neat. I think it's wonderful.
Well, thank you.
I think downtown's great.
I'm a member of the board, and let me just tell y'all that this is happening as we speak because of the support this commission has given the Downtown Development Authority for the past 3-4 years.
That's right.
I mean, our funding and support has allowed the Development Authority to do this. And it's increases the tax base. It gives people somewhere to go rather than out Memorial Drive, just another option. So they're doing a good job.
It is so popular, the downtown area is so popular that right now we only have like maybe 2 retail spaces available for rent in downtown. And I received a call this afternoon that one of those spaces, the lease hadn't been signed, but she said she's 99.9% sure the lease will be signed this week. That leaves us with 1 more retail space available in downtown. The other buildings are either not being used or not in the shape to be used right now. And that is where our revolving loan fund that we would like to set up will come into play to help get those buildings up and running. We could have all those buildings full.
I like it. I know I'm new to the commission, but I spend a lot of time in downtown. I got kin folks that own some restaurants there, Plant Cafe and KD's. I mean, it's just, and even my policing years, it was just a wonderful place to be, but it was dead when I was policing. It was dead when Steve was policing down there. But now it's like it's coming back to life, and I'm glad to see it in my lifetime. I mean, it's real impressive.
It is. It's a lot of fun to see. A lot of fun to be a part of. Okay.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. The consent item, approve the meeting and minutes for January 2022 work session, regular meeting. I hear a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm offer a motion that we approve the meeting minutes of January 10th work session, January 10th regular session, the work session of January 24th, the public hearing of January 24th, and the call meeting of January 24th.
Okay. I hear a
I'll give it
second.
a second. Steve got it.
On January 10th, on page 3, where it's the resolution 2022-01 qualification fees for elected officials, it's got District 4, District 5, District 6. District 4 is not in, shouldn't be in that.
I think that is the school board. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember.
All right, you're right, I'm sorry, my mistake.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. Yes, the school board.
Okay.
That's the school board. Okay, any more? If not, I have a motion, then have a second. Got a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
Bill Lewis, aye. Okay. Now, on the agenda item for the consent order with the Georgia Department of Revenue 2020 Ware County Tax Digest.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, there's a new agenda.
Week.
You've got it? I think I gave you one. Yep, I did.
Yeah, did you give me that new one, right? Oh, yeah, okay. I was looking at the other one. Okay, we're gonna get that one off. We'll go back to agenda A, public service agreement.
That's the Republic.
Yeah. Any motion on that one?
Mr. Chairman, county manager's given us a proposed agreement with Republic Services for garbage collection and disposal services in Ware County. I move that we adopt that motion and approve it as presented. The franchise fee of $15,000 as it is, and the whatever the increase would be.
Okay. That would be the same. Just leave it like it is and under the 15.
It would be 16, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We have a motion. We have a second. You made a motion to do that.
Yes.
That's your motion. I have a second on it.
I'll second.
Got a second. Okay. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris.
Aye.
Mr. Pope. Mr. Lucas.
No.
Mr. Barner.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right. Now, purchase request of ambulance and equipment. And you say we can use the money.
Yes, sir. Do the ARPA funds.
Buy the ambulance with. I hear a motion to buy the new ambulance.
I'll make a motion that we get that for our first responders. It's needed.
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? Anybody need anything on it?
This would be for the cost, as Mr. Moore gave us, $257,563.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That includes the truck and equipment.
And ARPA funds would be used to fund this purchase?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And the last time we bought a new one was what, 2018, wasn't it?
19, I believe it said.
19.
Might have been 19.
Will there be some of them that go for salvage?
Yes, sir. We could actually move once this one comes in, and it could be a year or more, but we could take that older one that we have. I think it's the International and surplus it.
Surplus.
Yes, sir. Okay. We always try to hold on to at least one as an alternate backup. Something happens. Sometimes you get two ambulances, maybe even three on one call, and then you've got to use what you have.
So he says we got 5 or 6 already. I mean, still running.
Yes, sir.
5 running and
5 running and one alternate.
behind,
Okay. All right. Any more discussion? If not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris.
Aye.
Mr. Pope.
Aye.
Mr. Lucas.
Aye.
Mr. Barner.
Aye.
Chair votes aye too. Okay. The airport property leases, I think what we'll do is we'll leave that like it is that what?
Yes, sir, till January.
Okay, I have a motion that we don't change any of that, leave it like it is.
Just leave like table it to January, or just leave it like it is January?
We got it.
This may be tabled till January, or?
No,
we need to go ahead and approve these, but we'll update it next January with all of them.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna leave it like it is.
All right, I make a motion to approve the leases that's set forth in front of us.
Okay. Got a second?
What was the motion?
That we approve the lease agreements with the 4
leases.
Yeah.
Presented.
Leave them like they are.
Until January.
The new leases.
Yeah, until next January.
Right, till we have a chance to update all of them.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, let's vote. Mr. Burris.
Aye.
Mr. Pope.
Aye.
Mr. Lucas.
Aye.
Mr. Barner.
Aye.
I vote aye. Chair votes aye. A bid award for 3D virtual reality de-escalation stimulator for public safety training center. I don't know if I can say all that.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I vote that we accept it as is, because it's gonna be a grant paying for it, so let's get our first responders again what they need to do their job properly.
I'll second it.
I got a motion in a second. What does that thing actually do?
What it actually does, I actually had some training on this one, almost identical to this one down in McRae, Georgia, Helen.
Right.
And it actually puts the officer, the deputy, in a live scenario, drawing his weapon. He has a computerized weapon that, of course, not his duty weapon, but a computerized weapon. And he gets put in live scenarios of shoot the good guy or you shoot the bad guy. You shoot the robber and you shoot the one the robber's holding a gun to.
There'll be
you go through different scenarios of
A
pilot
big
scenarios.
screen.
Yeah.
With somebody facing you with a gun.
I mean, it's you against the machine, basically, is what it is, and
And we have to have it.
I would say we needed this about 20 years ago. I mean, you're talking about police officers and deputy sheriffs and even troopers are going to use this thing. And I mean, the training that this thing allows them and gives them. I mean, it's just second to none, other than the real life scenario, and we sure don't want no real life scenario like that to go on.
Also, it shows an officer what they can expect out there in different situations.
Exactly.
And how fast the situation will change, up or either down escalation.
It just takes the de-escalation model to a new level, pretty much what it does.
All right, we have a motion.
I make
Yeah,
that
You
motion
made,
and
you
second.
made the motion, that's right, we got a second. Any more discussion on it? Not? Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris? Aye. Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
I'm gonna vote no, because I don't know nothing about it. Okay, E, the bid award for right-of-way mowing. I hear a motion. How we going?
Okay, I'm making a motion, we accept the bids that we've received for right-of-way mowing, litter pickup once a year, and mowing right-of-ways
3 times?
3 times, excluding the airport property.
Excluding the airport, okay. Everybody get that?
Pick up trash 1 time a year, mow the right of ways 3 times a year, and don't cut the industrial park.
Correct.
Right, that's right, the airport. Okay.
I second that motion.
Got a second. Any discussion on it? Not, let's bid on it. I mean, vote on it. Mr.
$5.
Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. A rezoning 1925 State Street. And it's from E, let's see, what was that? Zone, that rezoning.
That was from, to be rezoned from C3 general commercial to R75 residential.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Yes, sir, I have spoken personally with this family, mom, dad, and the daughter, and I don't see an issue with it. They're very upstanding people, they're great citizens. Known them for many years, I don't have no issue with them whatsoever, what they're requesting.
Okay.
And I know it's right there, I've actually went up there to the location, it's right there in my district, and it's, I mean, what they're doing is, it's up to par.
Okay, good. Thank you for that information.
So I'll make a motion that we,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we accept it as residential, change it from commercial to residential, because the left side of it, if you're facing it, the right side of it butts up to about half a dozen houses going down to the pecan orchard, and you got 2 businesses to the left, which going to the left, everything up to the railroad tracks is businesses. There's no residential on the left, but the right's residential.
Have a second. We had a motion, we have a second.
I second it.
Any discussion? Anything else on it?
And also, I'd just like to state, for the record, that they're not constructing a new building. They're taking a building that's already there. The building's already there. They basically just gonna change the inside
Renovate.
of it to renovate, to accommodate, to make it residential use. And so I think that's really why I can kind of go along with it, because they're not constructing anything. And then it's also, as Commissioner Lucas alluded to, residential properties to the right of it.
Right.
And behind it.
And, okay. Any
It's
more?
all commercial on State Street.
Most everything along there is commercial, ain't it?
Everything to
Zone.
everything to the north is
Everything to the north is
residential.
residential, besides the school.
Is it?
The school's the only,
With a couple of school stores now, they got the bar, engineered equipment.
yeah, this is further on down than that, yeah.
What was in that old building? You said it was a warehouse.
I think it was a warehouse or something,
kind
like
of
storage. I don't know if they used it for self-storage or what they used it for before.
Okay.
Used for, I think Frito-Lay was in there at one time.
Frito-Lay? Okay,
And they,
yeah,
I know they had some barbecue stuff there at one point.
right.
barbecues, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Any more discussion on it? No, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson? Aye. Mr. Pope?
No.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Barner?
Yeah.
Chair votes aye. Okay. County manager report, you got anything?
No, sir. The only thing I do want to mention is typically, usually at the end of February or end of March, we have like a planning retreat to talk about things that we need to try to plan forward budget-wise and such. And so if the commission still wants to do that, we can do that end of this month or end of next month, whichever.
Okay.
It's up to the commission. And we'll have it out at the WWDA office, usually about lunchtime. So I'll be in touch with you, just kind of let you know.
Okay. The commission, got anything?
I'd just like to thank Mara and I never think of his name. Spencer, yeah. For being here with us. And also like to give a shout out to Mr. Ernest Jones. He was on the winning team at the Super Bowl last night. He's a Ware County native.
Absolutely.
And I know the family, and I just think it's just great, for him. And what's so unique is this: he was drafted. This is his first year.
Yeah.
And so he's not only drafted in his first year, got a starting position, and got in the Super Bowl ring. So
That's a hard year to follow.
yeah, that's pretty much like a dream come true. So to Ernest Jones and to his family and to all of Ware County, I think we're all very proud of him and the Rams for what they did,
Exactly.
So that's all I have to say.
I agree with that.
And happy Valentine's Day to all the ladies here and abroad, And the men, if you haven't gotten anything, still got time.
Any more commission? Scott, I'd like to ask one thing about the overpass on Albany.
Yes, sir.
We worked on a little bit. Is there any way we could have another meeting on that? Set up with the city and maybe DOT?
Yes, sir. One of the things I was going to mention, and funny you brought this up, we got an email last week at the federal level about asking for projects. And some of those projects are transportation projects. So I'm going to get with the engineering staff, and that's going to be one we're going to submit along with some other things to see what we can get. But it's for federal appropriations. And so I'll be looking into that too.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, we're good, Scott. Thank you. Any more? Anybody else got anything? All right, I hear a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.